Okay, everybody on your feet. Everybody knows John Denver. On your feet. La la la, la 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 la, la la la, la 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 la. Welcome to my morning, welcome to my day. Yes, I'm the one responsible, I made it just this way. To make myself some pictures, see what they might bring. I think I made it perfectly, I wouldn't change a thing. La la la, la 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 la, la la la, la 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 la. Welcome to my happiness, you know it makes me smile. It pleases me to have you here for just a little while we open up the spaces, try to break some change. And if the truth is told, they will never come again. La la la, la la la, la la la, la la. Welcome to my morning, welcome to my day. Yes, I'm the one responsible, I made it just this way. To make myself some pictures, see what they might bring. I think I made it perfectly, I wouldn't change a thing. La la la, la 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 la, la la la, la la la, Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Welcome, welcome, and isn't it a beautiful day? And I will say right at the outset, if it gets stuffy in here, would somebody please crack the windows over there, because that helps a little bit. And we're glad to see all your shining faces today. Our guest speaker is Reverend Carrie Kenyon, and we'll hear from her in a little bit, but first we'll just do some of our morning announcements and morning visits with people. Is there anybody with us brand new today? Well, did anybody give you a red heart? Oh, okay. You will be given a red heart here momentarily. And all right. And we'll talk about what that all means in a moment. But next on the agenda is some more music from Sally and Jamie. In this moment, in this place, I remember who I am, letting fear and worry fall away from me. I open my eyes to see there is only love, there is only love, love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. When I lose myself, when it seems I've lost my way, when I go inside and quiet my mind, I can hear Spirit gently say, there is only love. there's only love.
I wanted to mention, some of us attended a retreat, a one-day retreat here yesterday, and had a lovely experience. And part of that lovely experience is that some loving hands prepared a wonderful lunch for us. You wouldn't have believed it, but there was just all this. And you know, you could make yourself a taco or a tostada, whatever you wanted, but there was lots of options, you know, to make it your own. It was wonderful, and I just want to thank the loving hands that made that lunch. You know, they didn't identify themselves. That was wonderful. Another thing I wanted to say was we thank the people that helped make the Sunday experience what it is and make it wonderful. So, of course, our musicians today are Jamie and Sally McAllister. I already mentioned that our guest speaker is Reverend Carrie Kenyon. Our board member of the week is Kimberly. Kimberly, you're here. She's holding her hand. Okay. And Kimberly is also an usher today, so she's doing extra work. Our chaplains today are Candace and Marilyn. Yes. So wonderful, wonderful. If you would like supportive prayer, both Candace and Marilyn will be available at our chapel here following the service. So just know that that's available to you. Our youth ed champion today is Joyce, and our hospitality host is Mary Ellen. Our office assistant is Susan Henderson, who does a lot of behind-the-scenes work. And I just want you to know, remember the thunderstorm we had Thursday? It was intense. There was thunder and lightning, and some of us thought we'd need an ark. There was some flooding going on in the restrooms. And Susan was like on the phone, like marshaling support, getting help, you know, what do we do? I got buckets, but, you know, what's the next step type of thing? So Susan, thank you for all you do. And we, next to where it says Spick and Span Angels, which means cleanup committee, there's a question mark. So if you feel inclined to help out with cleanup today, that would be much appreciated. Also, our technology guru is Mark Swink. Thank you, Mark. And I'm your charming platform assistant, Debbie Clay. So now, the Red Heart welcome, because Reverend Carrie hasn't been here before. What it's all about, this is something that Rosella started, but I'll just read what it says here. If you're new today at Unity of Bremerton, we welcome you in the spirit of love. We want you to know that no matter where you are on your journey of faith, you're always welcome here. We know that the world is a better place when we're willing to share our hearts. We give you this heart as a symbol of the steadfast spirit that lives within each one of us, and we ask you to carry it as a symbol of this Red Heart Fellowship. Let it be a reminder that the love of God is always with you, and to share your heart wherever you go. The Red Heart, as a symbol of fellowship in the world, can spread love one heart at a time. Let's start the movement here. So that's what the Red Heart Welcome is all about. Okay, so let's see. Unity Happenings. Unity Happenings. Okay, a lot of them are printed in your handout, your bulletin. Let's see, just to tell you what's coming up. May 14th, our guest speaker will be Kate Montana. She's been with us before. She'll be talking about celebrating the feminine. On May 21st, our guest speaker will be Reverend Sherry Schultz. And on May 28th, Reverend Rosella will be joining us for kind of a time of closure, but her title of her talk is Thanks for the memories. So plan to join us for that as well. Wonderful, wonderful. So, and just a reminder, on Thursday evenings at 7 p.m., A Course in Miracles study group meets here. It's an open group, so if you're inclined to join us, you're very welcome to come. 7 p.m. on on Thursday evenings, right here at the church. Okay. Kimberly, do you have some board announcements for us today? Okay, welcome.
Okay, so these lovely flowers. We have the Flowers to Go certificates available through May. And so if you have people you work with or anything like that, you can take an order form with you and fill it out. But do you want to say more about it? Oh, okay. Well, when you go in, yeah, you get a little bouquet of flowers every month for a full year. And they kind of hand this up, made it look really, really pretty for us. But you get like 3 flowers with the greenery and everything. And then you also have that option of upgrading for more flowers for a little bit more. Or you can get a full bouquet in a vase if you want to even upgrade more. Maybe you have a birthday or something you want to get for somebody. But I've done it. It's really cool. I just love to have the fresh flowers on my table. I just love it.
How much is it?
How much?
What are they, Mary Ellen?
$25.
$25.
For
And
a
that's
whole
a year.
A year.
Flowers.
Is that weekly?
And they just ask that you don't go in on Mother's Day or something. They want you to be off a holiday or something like that. So, but wonderful, wonderful thing.
If they don't deliver, you have to.
Yeah, you have to go in to one of the Flowers to
And
Go.
there's 7 locations all over.
There is. There's 2 in Bremerton. There's one on 303 and one down off Kitsapway. We have also reserved the NAD Seroptimus Park for our annual picnic, which is going to come up in August 20th. We'll put that on your calendars. And when we get closer to that, we'll put in a little map or something. So if some of you have never been there, we can get you there. It's fun though.
Same place we did it last year.
Yes, lots of food, lots of fun. If anybody is interested in joining Debbie and others for the platform, you can see Cindy Swink. We're looking for some people to be up here and let us know what's going on. Last Sunday, Marilyn. Hi. She mentioned that she reads the Daily Word. It's an inspirational phone call that you can call. So if you guys want that number, I have it. So there's pins in your thing.
on the back.
On the back, okay. It's 479-1758 if you got a pen in your hand. But if you need some inspiration and you want to hear Marilyn's wonderful voice reading the Daily Word, call that number. Great. It's also posted on the Daily Word is also posted on our Facebook page and Twitter. If you don't follow us on those, it's kind of a good idea because there's also other things on there. You can, we live stream our services, so you can always rewatch those again too on YouTube. We have also a weekly e-blast newsletter. So if some of you are missing days and you want to, oh, I'm sorry, George.
The Daily Word's also available by mail. You can send in for a subscription or get an e-subscription and it'll come directly to your cell phone.
Perfect, perfect. Let's see, the weekly e-blast too, you can go to unityofbremerton.org. And you can, or you can fill out a e-blast newsletter sign-up sheet, which is out in the fellowship area. Let's see. Also, out in the fellowship area, we have sign-up sheets for our membership renewal forms, and they would like to have those filled out and completed no later than June 15th. You will find a really lovely little box out there, and it's a new suggestion box, and so we really, really welcome ideas, suggestions. Maybe you know of a musician you'd like to hear or an event that you want to have here or something, put it in there and we'll take a look at it. Our next board meeting is the 21st, so we'll see who puts in some ideas for us. We want to welcome everybody's opinions and everybody's There's some great ideas out there. Bring them in, put them in the box, we'll read them. Now, yesterday, thank you, Reverend Carrie, we had our Hop Cough, which is healing our past, creating our future. We had an all-day gathering led by Reverend Carrie Kenyon. And we know there are some of you that couldn't make it because of illness and some that had to leave early, but we just want to thank everybody who came and participated. It was wonderful. And as you call us, elderberries and newberries, as a newberry, I heard stories from the elderberries and I was just, wow. I was just like, it was really interesting to me to hear those stories. And it was a fun day. It was like good food. Yeah. But towards the end of it, we kind of gathered together and decided on some unresolved issues that we could work on now, today, if we wanted to. And so we kind of formed a couple committees, one being a technology committee and one for an attendance committee. And so if any of you are interested in joining us in coming up with great ideas, our technology, a lot of you don't know that Mark and Cindy are using their own equipment for a lot of this live streaming. And that's a lot of moving equipment out, moving it back in. And then what the church has is on its last leg. So we want to come up with some great ideas and get the unity here to have some new equipment for that. And the attendance, we want to reach out into the community and bring them in and bring their love in and grow our attendance and our family here. And so if you want to be on one of those committees, sign-up sheets out in the fellowship. We have a table full of things that you can put your names on. So thank you for everybody that came. It was wonderful. And Reverend Carrie, I came out feeling really good. And thank you. The board will keep you updated.
Okay, so it's time to light the Christ candle, and of course, this represents the Christ light within each one of us, that spark of divinity that we can share with the world. So we're going to say our invocation now. It's on the screen. Can we say this together?
There is one presence and one power active in the universe and in my life. God the good, omnipotence.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to have an opportunity to greet each other this morning, and I'll just do my little reminder that we're going to have fellowship time after the service, so there'll be plenty of time to go into deep conversation with people. But right now, just greet somebody warmly, maybe somebody you haven't met before, and exchange your names and say good morning to them. And if you don't want to be hugged, shove out your hand real quickly, because we're going to be a hugging church. Okay, we're going to keep this brief. Thanks, everybody.
Got my hiking clothes on, going hiking after.
I got long arms, so I can pretty much hug anyone out here. There.
I
ground and I feel alright. Ah, life is good. Ah, life is good. I give a little love, give a little light, comes back round and I feel alright. Ah, life is good. Ah, life is good. A couple more times. Give a little love, give a little light, comes back round and I feel alright. Ah, life is good. Life is good. I give a little love, give a little light, comes back round and I feel alright. Life is good. Life is good.
Daily word, prosperity. No, that doesn't mean money in the bank. That's just one expression.
It wouldn't hurt.
The abundance of the universe flows to me. I accept it with joy and gratitude. Some people may think of prosperity as something to be earned, a goal to be achieved. In spiritual truth, prosperity is a natural expression of divine love, the infinite essence of all life. Prosperity flows abundantly through every atom in the universe and through every cell of my body. If my prosperity feels stifled, I know that any limitations are of my own thinking. Perhaps I'm forgetting to stay vigilant against such thoughts when they appear. Not to worry. Such negative thoughts are dissolved as I appreciate the many ways in which prosperity is already expressing in my life. My prosperity comes when I experience more of God. I open my heart to receive and accept the abundance of the universe. From Luke 12, verse 32. Do not be afraid, little flock, for it is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. It's one of my favorites. It's your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. Today, the abundance of the universe flows to me. I accept it with joy and gratitude. God bless us.
The two songs that Jamie and I are going to do today were both written by no, that comes afterward. Okay.
Yes, Mother.
I think I'm wrong. I think I'm wrong. Okay, we do I Rise Up. This is one we don't do very often, and it's really beautiful. Rise up, here I go. I rise up, here I go. I release my limitations and I lay my burdens down. I rise up, here I go. I rise up, here I go. I rise up, here I go. I release my limitations and I lay my burdens down. I rise up, here I go. One more time. I rise up, here I go. I rise up, here I go. I release my limitations and I lay my burdens down. I rise up, here I go. Okay, back to what I started to say. The two songs that we're going to do today were written by a singer-songwriter, guitar player that Jamie heard a long time ago. His name is Bill Staines, and we've done these songs before, but not for quite a while. The first one is called River, and why don't we just play that so they can learn the chorus. We want you to sing on the chorus. River, take me along in your sunshine. Sing me a song ever moving and winding and free. You rolling old river, you changing old river. Let you and me, river, run down to the sea.
So there are 3 verses, and after every verse will be the chorus. Is that on?
No.
Hey! There are 3 verses, and after every verse is the chorus. And so we want you to sing along with us.
I'm just going to follow him.
Oh, and this is dedicated to Daryl and Tony, because the last time we did this song, Daryl played the piano for us and Tony played bass for us.
Wow.
So we can. I was born on the path of the winter wind. I was raised where the mountains are old. Springtime water has come dancing down. I remember the tales they told. Listening ways of my younger days too quickly have faded on by. But all of their memories linger on like the light in the fading sky. Your partner goes. River, take me along in your sunshine. Sing me a song ever moving and winding and free. You rolling old river, you changing old river. Let's you and me, river, run down to the sea. Been to the city, back again. I've been moved by some things that I've learned. Met a lot of good people and called them friends. Sing of the changing wind. Heard all the songs that the children sing. Listened to love's melodies. Felt my own music within me rise like the wind and the autumn breeze. Here we go. River, take me along in your sunshine. Sing me a song ever moving and winding and free. You rolling old river, you changing old river. Let you and me, river, run down to the sea. This is where Daryl will be playing. Someday when the flowers are blooming still, someday when the grass is still green, while rolling waters around the bend and flow into the open sea. Here's to the rainbow that's followed me here. Here's to the friends that I know. Here's to the songs that within me now. I will sing it wherever I go. Here we go. River, take me along in your sunshine. Sing me a song ever moving and winding and free. You rolling old river, you changing old river. Let you and me, river, run down to the sea. One more time. River, take me along in your sunshine.
let's welcome our guest speaker today, Reverend Carrie Kenyon.
And thank you for that one. The one before that was by Mark Stanton Welch. And
Yes.
Yes.
Woo! Yes.
Both of them. Yeah, the fast ones.
Yes. I heard him at, I'm originally from the Northwest. I live in Kansas City right now, but I went to many youth ed retreats at Gold Bar, and Mark Stanton Welch was often there to provide the music for us. So it's like, yes, just this wash of memories coming back. So thank you very much for that this morning. As you said, I am Reverend Carrie Kenyon, and right now I live back in the Kansas City area. I work for Unity Worldwide Ministries, and it is definitely my pleasure and privilege to get to travel around and meet wonderful people like you. So thank you for allowing me to be here this morning. You know, I had one talk already planned when I knew I was coming here, and then I had this other one that kept niggling away and saying, no, that's not it. And it wouldn't go away, and so you have a different talk than what I originally planned. And this one is surrendering fully and freely. So when you hear that word surrender, what usually comes to mind?
Giving up.
Giving up. Giving up.
God. Let go.
Letting go. A lot of times we think of that white flag, you know, that defeat. You know, what if it's not that? What if the surrendering that we are talking about isn't about white flag, isn't about defeat? What if it's more about that inner power? What if it's really not about capitulating, not about resigning or being overpowered or subjugating ourselves to someone else's will? What if it's not that at all? What if it means to stop fighting the world? Have you ever tried to do that? Take it on? Don't like the way things are going? Gonna change it? What if it means stopping that and stopping to breathe deeply, easily, in the moment? What if surrender is really about peace and love and joy and power? That's the surrender that I would like to look at today. So I invite you to breathe with me, to breathe and relax together and discover the possibility of the exhilaration and the potency of true surrender. You know, Amy Johnson from Tiny Buddha had this to say about surrender. She said, surrender means literally to quit fighting. So as I go through my talk this morning, I'd like you to just keep in your own mind, what is it in your life that you are fighting? So just kind of keep that in mind. And maybe you're one of the lucky ones and everything in your life is just fine and peachy and there isn't anything that you're fighting. So you get to enjoy that peace. And if you are, then congratulations. I know I'm not there. I always have something, it seems, that has a little bit of my growth edge to it. So she said, like I said, that surrender literally means to stop fighting. Stop fighting with yourself. You have those arguments in your head. Get there's just one of you. And stop fighting the universe and the natural flow of things. Stop resisting and pushing against reality. I know I do that. And she goes on to say that surrender is really that complete acceptance of what is, plus faith that everything really is all right. You know, it's not about inaction. It doesn't mean, and then stop. But it means acting from a different place. It's about taking action from that place of surrender energy from our own divinity, that place of our own inner power. You know, in psychology today, I have a psychology background, so I have to go back to that every once in a while. But it says that change, as we all know, can be a tremendous challenge. A lot of us say things would like to change, but we don't want to actually change ourselves. And depending on what that change is, whether it's physical, emotional, intellectual, or circumstantial, it can be a challenge for us. And we feel that ground of normal shifting under our feet. And when we feel that shift, all of a sudden what is normal isn't there anymore, then there's an instinctual part of us that wants to fight, to keep it the same. That's our kind of homeostasis. We want things to stay the same. That's where we feel safe and feel good. And it's not always for our best interest to do that. And that is, it's particularly when the change takes place over 2 or more of those categories. When you look at changes that are emotional, physical, intellectual, or circumstantial, if you put those all together, then that normal really shifts. And our instinct to put it back to, quote, normal comes to the forefront, and we find ourselves resisting. And what does we say in Unity? Whatever we resist persists.
Rosella.
Say that over and over and think one of these years I'd get it. So I would guess, just from the conversations that I've had with people here yesterday and on, that all of us have had something happen in our lives that we didn't like. We might not understand it, maybe know that it is part of life, but we don't always like it. And would you agree that that's an accurate assumption, that all of us have had something like that in our life? All right. So I know that you have here, I've heard that 2 people of this sacred community has closed the physical door and has opened another door for whatever their next grand adventure might be. And there's been another shift in this sacred community as your minister has retired. So you have a lot of change going on here. Mm-hmm. You're standing on that shifting ground of normal. What is that normal? It can be something as big as that, or it can be as simple as somebody cutting you off in traffic. Or someone not driving the way you think they should drive.
Yeah.
I had an example of that in Poulsbo on Friday. I went down to get some lunch, and there was 3 cars coming along this way, and the first 2 just seemed fine, but the third one didn't like the speed they were going. I think he might have been in just a little bit of a hurry, and he was laying on the horn, and he just kept it for about half a block or more. And as he went by, you could tell by the expression on his face that he was resisting. And the thing of it was, there wasn't any place for that car in front of him to go. So it's that. And let it go. I like what Tom was telling me about the heart, that it's good to have that in your hand. And when something like that happens, you can rub on that and let that anger go and feel that love and radiate that love out to them instead. It can be something in driving, or it can be something bigger. As I mentioned, that you had 2 people in your congregation pass. It can be big as changing of jobs. Sometimes it's our choice, but it's still that change. I know I've spoken to people who have retired from ministry, and they're going about their life, and all of a sudden they realize that this is the day I always prepared my talk. It's like, I'm not doing that anymore. Who am I in this new role? So again, it's that shifting of what is normal. And when some of those bigger things happen, like loss of a loved one, it can feel huge. And that's the time we really need to surrender. But it's the time that it's hardest for us to do that. It means that we're rarely in a position to acknowledge and appreciate the wisdom in surrender, to let go. And it's hard to see, much less welcome, the opportunity of surrender when we're in the presence of pain. And that doesn't mean that we're not spiritual. We understand and we teach that life goes on. but we also are human beings. And we're having this human experience. And with that, sometimes we have pain. And it's like, oh, well, that's not being spiritual. But for us to move forward, we need to allow ourselves that human experience and to feel it. And it is by that that we can then move forward. Studies have shown us that those who say it shouldn't have happened or don't feel the pain are the ones that take longer to move through grief. And there's a wonderful example. Many of you may have read the book The Shack or saw the movie. And in that, it was not until that character could forgive that he could move on into living again. He was stuck. He was really stuck. And I have a similar example. My sister passed in November. And I was the executor of her will. And I was trying to get everything done. There were a lot of little details to take care of. And it seemed like everywhere I turned, I was running up against a wall. One example is I needed a letter from the lawyer saying that I was the personal representative so that I could talk to the different accounts that she had to close them and move on. And when I first talked to the lawyer, they said their schedule was completely open and I would have it in about a week. Well, by the time I finally got the death certificate from the funeral home and I could move forward and got it to them, their schedule was no longer wide open. They had things booked that had to go to court right away. So the letter that I was expecting from them that was going to take maybe a week at the most was like 2.5 weeks away. So I talked to my daughter, and I have to say she's a very wise woman. We started going to Unity when she was 4 years old, so she kind of grew up. And she's a wonderful coach. The first thing she said to me was, Mom, it sounds to me like you're not letting Amy go, that you're not releasing Amy. Because, right, we create our own world. All right, I have to. So I took that into prayer and meditation. And I got that she was right. So I spent time loving Amy and blessing her and releasing her, surrendering to what was instead of fighting against it. And guess what happened? I did. I got my letter and things started falling into place. I even found homes for 2 of her 3 dogs. And I guess we actually found 3 because we kept the 3rd dog. Good old Georgie. And you know that surrender, that sweet surrender gave me the most exquisite sense of peace and joy and freedom. Surrender, not defeat. So that's the type of surrendering that I want to talk about, that breathing deeply and living again. So just for a minute, I want you to just take that deep breath. Just breathe it in. And release it. We're not going to go into meditation now, but I just wanted you to feel that deep breath because we go about our lives taking these little shallow breaths. We get so caught up in the hurry of the day that we forget that breath of life, that breath of God that's flowing in and through each one of us. So to just pause for a moment and to really feel that breath throughout the day, it's a great reminder. You know, growing up, many of us heard the Trinity as the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. Well, Charles Fillmore, one of the co-founders of Unity, talked about the Trinity this way: mind, idea, and expression. So through the mind and the idea and expression, that is the process of creativity, the one that each one of us has, the power of that. That's who we are. We manifest in our world. That is how the allness of God is manifested into the world, is the mind, idea, and expression. We bring the divine ideas emanating into our world through that, into expression. So you can think of the Holy Ghost or the Holy Spirit as God's power in action. Let's talk a minute just about that. When you look at the Bible, the word spirit is translated from Hebrew as ruach, and then from the Greek word pneuma, which is breath, or in Genesis, it talks about it as wind. So that breath, or the wind, that breathing into expression. And each of those meanings have something in common. It's something that is invisible to humans that produces visible effects. So we can't see it. We can see the effects of it. We can see the wind blowing through the trees. You can see the ripples on the water from it. But you can't really see the wind, only the effects. So it's invisible. And so like the divine spirit, like the wind, is invisible, immaterial, and yet powerful. So when we're holding on to the shoulds or the shouldn'ts for ourselves or someone else, what we're doing is holding our breath. We're not allowing that divine spirit to move through us and to manifest in our world, and we end up getting stuck. Just like I got stuck when I was trying to do all of the things I needed to do for Amy. So I told you to be thinking about that. What is it in your life that you're fighting against that has you stuck? Because when we resist what is, we disconnect from our intuition and spirit, as well as from the present, which is where our power is. Our power isn't in yesterday, and it isn't in tomorrow. It is only right here, right now, in this very moment, with every breath that we take. So are we breathing freely? Are we letting that power move through us? Or are we hanging on to it? Rachel Naomi Raymond, an author and MD, states this way: confronted by enormous change, we're faced with an important choice. Either we come to surrender, we go into the loss, attend to our own responses, and listen to ourselves, or we attempt to put it behind us and get on with the rest of our lives. She goes on to say, but does this really work? When we try to avoid loss and plow through our pain, our lives are actually diminished. On the other hand, there's an extraordinary wisdom and clarity that emerges in people who genuinely meet their lives and their pain, not in theory, but in life. And then last but not least, no spiritual awakening is possible without surrender. No spiritual awakening is possible without surrender. Until we get out of the way, our ego gets out of the way, we're unable to feel the power that's greater than our own will and deeper than our thoughts. To me, that is reason enough to let go and to surrender. And it's our choice. We get to choose. It's not always easy, but I don't think a spiritual path is for wimps. You know? Sometimes we can say it's simple, but it's not easy. So we listen to that divine guidance and plug into that divine power that's within each one of us. It's our birthright. So remember, true surrender is not to another person, but it's to that larger force that is breathing in, through, and as each one of us. So that's why we surrender. And now how? How do we do that? I was a counselor at one of the Unitine retreats at Sispus, and the way they did it was have us stand on this log, laying down, but was much taller than me, and fall off backwards in trust, falling and trusting that we'll be caught. And we weren't, or I wouldn't be here. But that trust. So that's one of the first things that true surrender means, is that trust. We have to trust and know that we're not alone, that we're always have that presence. And then self-awareness, to know when it is that we're fighting, that we're resisting, and not letting go. And then consider, what would it feel like letting go? Feeling like freedom. What is the possibility there? And then Einstein said, to believe that the universe is friendly. If it's friendly, why do we need to keep fighting it? If it's there to support us, we can let go. And as unity, we always say, let go and let God. And what is that if not surrender? So remember, and I just have one more that I really experienced this weekend thanks to Ron and Debbie, and that is spending time in nature. Spending time in nature puts me in that place where it's a little bit easier for me to surrender, because it lets me have that larger perspective. I have to tell you, I had the gift of the most amazing morning. When I woke up and I looked out the window, the sun was shining on the Olympics. Absolutely beautiful. And there were sea lions swimming around in the bay, and there was this beautiful heron out on the dock. How could I not surrender to that? So I invite you, no matter what challenge you might face in the days and weeks to come, to surrender to that higher power, that divine self that each of you are, your own divinity, and to breathe deeply and fully and freely surrender. Thank you.
Should have done for one of the congregational songs, Mark Welch, I Release and Surrender. I Release, Let Go. Yeah, that one.
That would have been perfect.
I was sitting John Denver's
Byron's
Sweet Surrender.
Douglas song.
Yeah.
One more thing about the songs. The one that I'm doing is called Child of Mine, and we always did it on Mother's Day, but since Mother's Day is next week and we're not
Singing.
singing next week, we're doing it today, and it's just a real favorite. Again, from the same singer-songwriter. Child of mine, you are the wildest wind and the dearest dream I will ever know. Love's lasting light shines out from deep within this mother's heart as I watch you grow. Child of mine, you are the break of dawn and the brightest star I will ever know. Love's lasting light comes shining on and on from this mother's heart as I watch you grow. There is a road, and that road is on your own, but we are here. You need not walk alone, to face not fear. Each coming new unknown is a way to lift your wings. Child of mine, you are the sweetest song and the greatest gift I will ever know. Child of mine, you are the sweetest song and the greatest gift I will ever know. Child of mine, where spirits fly above, there is but one that belongs to you. So let it grow, and it will thrive on love, for it is love that sees us through. You have the hands that will open up the doors
Thank you both to Reverend Carrie and to Sally and Jamie. We're going to have an offertory time now. So as you prepare your tithes and love offerings today, think about how blessed you are. And as you're writing your check or giving your gift, please send your blessings out to this church for its growth and reaching out to the community to share love and light. And while the music is going, the ushers will be passing the bags. I'm going to light the candles so that if you would like to light a candle for yourself or for somebody you're thinking of, you can send them a blessing.
So blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed. I am so blessed, I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful.
Which is the bridge that comes across, and we're supposed to get my No, yeah, but I'm going to the bridges on that. Up there, on the other side of that Washington. But what I did is that I had to get on the street called 20th Avenue. That would take me to 140th, and I just turned a little bit on 40th, back sharp. But it didn't tell me how to get on 20th. Then I followed it back, and it said this is called Northwood, which is only the 20th. And it looked like I could take it off from and fly a toilet onto Northwood, where there was no such thing. Okay, that's that. Then I saw it turn off 148th Street, so I turned off there, backtrack, and then I got turned off. Didn't you? No. I just go across the go up 5, the turn off to right, and then to KCS, and then go up here's Washington, and go Well, where did you go to Seattle? An entrance? Yeah, see, I don't. I go to rent it in, or to rent it there. So there's another way I could have gone, which would take.
So at this time, we have an usher and a board member, and in this case today, they're the same person, and a chaplain or two to come up to share with us.
Toes.
Everybody wants.
Come on, sister.
And on the screen is the blessing, and we all participate in this. We all participate in blessing the offering to the highest good. So can we read this together? Together we dedicate these gifts in service to the highest mission, recognizing and celebrating our oneness with God. We joyfully and freely participate in the law of circulation, of giving and receiving, knowing God is source, the source of all good. We are grateful. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. This is a time for good news. Does anybody have any good news to share? Yes, Susan?
I should have said it earlier, but I wanted to say the women's luncheon is on June 10th from 11 to 2:30, and the sign-up sheets are in the with the other sign-up sheets.
Okay. So the women are going to have a lunch. Is there anything scheduled for the men?
We're not in charge of that.
Of course we can't.
You're on your own.
So the women can kind of say neener, neener, neener?
Don't they already?
No, I invite any enterprising gentleman who would like to organize a men's luncheon and retreat day
Got a joke
to
bar.
do that. You're just driving.
No,
your
it was good news. I wanted to share
Yes?
something. Yeah. Good news is I brought those cards that I was talking about. So if you'd like one, come see me. This is what I want to see us reach out in the community with and be able to do something with to bring in more attendance. It'll ultimately bring in more money. It'll ultimately bring in more prosperity to the church. So you can come see me if you'd like something.
Oh, excellent. Okay. Yes, Nora?
As most people know, my husband passed away this last week. And I am really grateful because not that he passed away. Yeah. But in the process of making arrangements for the cremation, I have learned about some organizations that help with the cost of cremation, and I've been fortunate enough to have that all covered for me. And for the support and love of so many people here that have reached out and just given me love and hugs, and it's just meant more to me than anything ever could.
Prosperity.
Yes.
Prosperity.
Yes.
Thank you, Nora. Our hearts and our prayers are with you and your family at this time. We do have a Food for Life ministry, food for the homeless and lunches that go to them. So would anybody like to take the bag? Thank you, James. I've got a bag for you. And I'll put it right here for you to get. Okay, and it's time to, we have a child in the Sunday school today, don't we? Yeah. Okay, let's welcome in our child. You are walking in the light, in the light of God. In the light, 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 in the light of God. Okay, what were you talking about today?
Well, we were talking about Carrie's talk, and so I read the description to Jay and asked him, what he thought as we read it. Some of the words were kind of big. We broke those down to kind of explain it. But he's had some recent challenges at school with another particular playmate, and feeling the emotions of overwhelm and stress and in the social situation, even for kiddos, can sometimes be very difficult. So I was asking him, okay, well, if you had this magic button and you could just release all of that energy, that would be surrendering. So how would you feel if you had that magic button? And this is what he drew.
Thank you. So let's do a blessing to both Jay and the Sunday school teachers that support him. Together.
We love you, we bless you, and we appreciate you just the way you are.
Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, it's time for our peace song, and then we'll have the prayer of protection. So let's stand up and join hands and make a service.
There be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment